Welcome everyone to the stream. It is time for TTQ versus TBR. The team formerly known as Team Q taking the blue side for this first game. Order of the Black Rose taking red side. And we are going to jump straight into draft here. TTQ opting to ban away the Mbessa early. And a little bit of Smolder Hubber coming out for the side of TBR, but does switch to the Bard. And this is something that we have commented on stream before, where teams really need to be respecting the Smolder a little bit more and don't seem to be paying as much mind to it as we would like. That has cost them a few games, but Root of TTQ has famously said that Smolder is very counterpickable. So we'll see if Order of the Black Rose agree with that idea. Set and Ash going to be the second and third bans for the side of TTQ. Smolder will be banned out third, with a Pike ban coming out second. And a lot of focus on this bot lane here for the side of Order of the Black Rose. They have identified bot lane as a potential issue. TTQ going to get their priority pick here. See what they opt for. Should be... Ooh, okay, Wukong. I do like the Wukong as a priority pick. Definitely a very strong jungler and a good top laner as well. The priority pick works for the flex. We'll see what TBR opt for R1, R2 here in response. Will they pick their bot side? Will they pick part of it and a jungler? What is the plan here for Order of the Black Rose? Lulu coming out for TBR. An interesting pickup here. Do you like this particular pick? Very strong, but needs to be paired with a good hyper carry. We'll see what TBR opt for. Will they pick their ADC here and give TTQ an opportunity to respond, or will they pick their jungler as a potential response to the Wukong? Hogma going to be the pickup, and this is the second time in 2 days that we have seen this pick. Not really seeing it a whole lot before this, but Kog'Maw coming out multiple times. And Kog'Maw Lulu, definitely a very classic ADC pairing with a support. The buffs that Kog'Maw gets from Lulu really, really strong and enable him in amazing ways. I'll have to see what TTQ elect to respond with in the bot lane. Lux going to be the potential for support. Could also be flex to mid lane. So a lot of flex picks coming out for the side of TTQ. And this is definitely starting off as one of their better drafts. A lot of flexibility coming out here for their side. Now, question is, will they lock in their ADC here? Zoe. Okay, so this could potentially be an issue. However, Zoe and Lux can both be flexed between the mid and support. So, not as bad of a draft issue. But not picking up ADC here is a little bit rough, as a lot of pressure can be now put on this ADC lane. Rengar going to be the final pickup in this first round for Order of the Black Rose, and this is not a jungler that we've seen very often. But definitely a very interesting one, and considering how much squishiness TTQ has opted into at this point in the draft, could be a potential issue. TBR, though, going to ban out the Master Yi and potentially signaling that they believe that Wukong is going topside, or potentially preventing TTQ from sending it top, forcing it into that jungle role by applying more pressure on the jungle draft. TTQ, what will they respond with? The Sylas potentially signaling a Malphite for the top or jungle. Would be interested to see that champion come out here. But of course, banning Sylas does not necessarily mean you need to pick the Malphite. It just signals that it is a possibility. And will TBR respect that possibility? With a Kog'Maw and a Lulu, not the most difficult to ultimate, but over the top with the Wukong could be very frustrating. They will ban the Akali as their final ban here for this first game. See what TTQ answers with. with the final ban of this game in total. TBR will have priority on the next pick here, and likely want to pick their top lane. Could pick their mid lane here, but definitely want to decide what lane they want to give the counter pick over to. It will be the Ornn, so a very safe top laner picked here for the side of TBR. I think this really makes sense. As Philomena, one of the strongest players on TBR, giving counter pick and trying to figure out where that Lux and Zoe are going to be sent. TTQ now up, need to pick their final two for this draft. Alawi going to be the hovered response into the Ornn, and Alawi is a decent pick. Definitely a lot of tankiness, can survive well into the Ornn and also make life a little bit frustrating for him. Will be locked in here. We'll see what their final pick is. And to be honest, it's going to be a little bit difficult for the side. Okay. TTQ opting for a mage bot lane here. Not necessarily sure which is which, but Yone going to be the pickup for TBR. And this will be a very scary game for the side of TTQ. Lux, Zoe, and Aesol all very vulnerable to this Yone. And definitely some good safety for the Lulu. And the Kog'Maw. Rengar will definitely love the squishiness on the side of TTQ. Yone will loving it as well. Will be interesting to see how this match shakes out. On the TTQ side, though, some decent team fighting, but putting a little bit of trust in this mage bot lane. And could be okay. The only person that really wants to build MR is Ornn. Rengar and Yone obviously can opt into a Hex Drinker. Can make things a little bit more difficult. But we'll have to see how this matchup shapes out, as we have a very interesting game coming up for game number 1. Don't go anywhere. There's going to be a lot of action real soon. Alright, welcome back. Game number 1. Team formerly known as TQ going up here against Order of the Black Rose.
To Summoner's Rift.
Will be an exciting matchup in this game number 1. Team formerly known as TQ. Walking in here, getting some vision on the red buff. Not typically where we see that ward, but will give a decent amount of information to this team. Root and Sox Clinton doing a good job. Creating a lot of pressure and zoning out this Lulu Kog'Maw, but Sox Clinton going to take a lot of damage here from the Kog'Maw. Root does have a lot of poke, though, on this bottom side, as does Zoe. In the top lane, League of Leahy back and forth with its Ricky. Level 2 achieved for both of these bot laners around the same amount of time. No clear advantage gained just yet for either of these teams. On the top lane, though, Alawi a slight advantage. But the wave is pushing in. Thankfully, Rengar is pathing away, and she does know that. Sox Clinton just missing the Q onto Peppermint. A lot of poke back and forth for this bot lane. Lulu able to mitigate a lot more of this poke. On the top side, Ricky and Leahy battling back and forth. And this is where TTQ need to be a little bit careful. They should know that Rengar is pathing towards the bottom side. Graces does take a bit of poke, but Peppermint able to mitigate a decent amount. Root, no mana. Fully Anointed is down here on this bottom side. Flashes from both ADCs. Good job, Graces. The Hogmaw getting the first blood, but will go down to Fully Anointed. In response, Peppermint now running, not able to get away. Philomena doing a lot of damage to Taylor Swifties in the mid lane. Hogmaw picking up that first blood. Root not having a lot of mana for that fight. Going to be down a lot of summoners in this bot lane. Rengar is going to like the sound of that prospect. Philomena now going hard onto Taylor Swifties. Does not opt for the early here. Did go for Adorn's Ring instead. Philomena also playing defensively on this Yone. Did take the Dorn's Shield instead of the bow. Is something we've seen a lot more on this Yone, especially in solo queue. Root living up to her name, rooting up. Doing a lot of damage to this Kog'Maw. The Electrocute's coming out. Lulu can mitigate a decent amount of damage, but not able to mitigate all of it. Taylor Swifties now back in this mid lane. Does have the tier. Good movement from League of Leahy to avoid that tentacle. Is low on mana now, though. And does have to be careful. Fully Anointed looking at Philomena here. If he goes aggressive, could be a little bit rough. Does have the ultimate now. Will use it to attempt to get away, but the breath coming out from the Asol, very rough. Both of these mid laners, interestingly, opting to take exhaust for this matchup. Philomena only required to use the ultimate. Does have a reasonably low cooldown, even at level 1. Rengar now here on this bottom side. Root is in a very sticky situation. Slowed up and will go down. Fox Clinton now moving towards his jungler, who is attempting this dragon take. And TTQ should know about this. Oh, the flash! Oh no, Fully Anointed almost messing up, but Rengar not managing to take advantage of it. Now, Peppermint in a very tough position. TTQ playing these fights reasonably well. The flash from the Zoe passive, or the Zoe W coming out. Will not manage to land the bubble though. And the rest of Order of the Black Rose walk out a 1-0 in their favor. And a good roam from Taylor Swifties, knowing that his team was down in ADC, but did manage to allow them to secure the Drake, walking down before Philomena could get there. And good moves from Fully Anointed, forcing that ultimate out. If Yone has ult there, it's definitely very difficult to play that team fight. Rengar now sniffing around this top side. Ornn ultimate will be called, but Ricky doing a lot of damage to Leahy here. Trying to wait out the tentacles. Will root up the Alawi and will avoid the tentacle. Ricky now walking towards the bush. Not sure that's where you want to be, buddy. That's exactly where Rengar loves to live, and in fact, will manage to take him down. Do they know Fully Anointed is on this top side, though? Fully Noited now looking for a play onto this Yone. Goes aggressive without E. He might be forced to use that ultimate defensively again. Noited will walk over to the scrubs though. No opportunity spotted just yet. His root will manage to get the root and the drowsy onto this Kog'Maw, but good defensive moves. Oh, and Fully Noited using the ultimate, but will get knocked up by the Yone R. Will not be able to get out. Taylor Swifty's on the run, but will get knocked out of the flight as well. The exhaust coming out from both mid laners here. Philomena taking a lot of damage from Taylor Swifties. And one grub going over to TTQ. Crisis. Races? Craze? Does use the flash. Will have the coins up soon, but not quite soon enough. Root and Sox Clinton putting out a lot of poke. Wukong making it back in time. Will find the second grub, but Vanguard managing to find one of his own. Will root up the Wukong. Will take him down. Ooh, a good stun, but Taylor Swifty's on the way here. Vanguard needs to be careful. A small gold lead in this game. Ooh, Philomena forced the flash here. Will have the E. Sox Clinton there to clean up. Kill. That Aurelion Soul doing a lot of damage to this Yone. Does not have any early MR. Leahy on this top side though will be happy to just farm this one out. Will actually call Ornn ultimate, doing a lot of damage, forcing the flash and the ultimate out of Ricky, but that last turret shot sealing his fate. Top side of this map doing very well for the side of TTQ. Now Chris tries to go aggressive. Fully Noited down here to make things happen, but Chono also down here just deletes the Zoe. Misses the stun. Will only get one, and it will be a trade of ultimates. But Taylor Swifty's rotating down on that Ace-Hole. Signals that TBR need to back off. Root using the ultimate on this bottom side did have an angle onto Peppermint. Not able to do nearly enough damage, even though she does have first item on that Lux. Now a level disadvantage on this top side for this Alawi. That's definitely not what you want to see for your fighter who does need to be a little bit further ahead. Philomena, though, going hard onto Taylor Swifties here, who does not have the flight anymore. Will do a lot of damage. Polymorph coming out to seal his fate. And the fate sealed on that snapback, taking his life. And good match on the roam from Peppermint, but it does mean that this Kog'Maw needs to sit well underneath his turret. Cannot walk up to this lane. Fox Clinton looking for an angle. Does manage to get it. The ultimate will come out, and Fully Anointed is also down here for a potential dive. Rengar on the opposite side of the map. The bot lane of TTR, or TBR, need to be incredibly careful as they play this part of the laning phase. With this wave pushed in, they will see the Wukong, and they need to back all the way up to signal it. Root and Fox Clinton should be able to finish off this bottom lane turret with the grubs, and indeed they will. Claiming first turret for the side of TTQ. Even though Fully Anointed, not able to make that dive happen, still creates a lot of pressure on this bottom side. Has made life very difficult. Fox Clinton getting jumped on, but does manage to find the bubble onto Chono. Will discourage him from attempting to jump onto the Zoe. "14 minutes into this game, 5 kills to 9. Close objective control going over to the side of TTQ. Only a single grub in response for the side of TBR. Still a slight gold advantage for their side. More kills available, and now Philomena in a bit of trouble. We'll have multiple members collapsing on him as Root does land the snare. No follow-up damage. Leahy and Ricky still battling it out on this top side. No clear advantages for either. Slight level lead and a slight gold lead for the side of Leahy, but not much else. Leahy has not been able to take any of these plates though. Ricky needing to be incredibly careful. Ooh, Leahy just barely messing that up. This Ornn does do a lot of damage at this point, and that's tanks in 2026, people. Don't know, though. Up here to make it a bit of an unfair fight. Go get the knockup, and with the Ornn ultimate coming out, goodbye, Alawi. Blowing his flash. But Fully Anointed collecting the Rift Herald and will set it down in this mid lane. Not going to crack the turret, but will do a decent amount of damage. 3 more plates collected for the side of TTQ here. Trying to even up the gold is Chono. Looking at this TTQ bot lane. The GTQ really need to play around these neutral objectives right now. They do have 2 stacked up with Hextech Soul. Their team could become incredibly annoying to play against. And are not super good at playing around some of these objective fights. But nearly full objective control in the neutrals for TTQ does give them a serious advantage. We'll see how far they can push that advantage. This next strike spawning in 9 seconds. TTQ already setting up vision around this bottom side. Ornn walking away from the top side and allowing Alawi to split push. We look for the first team fight of the game for TBR. All 5 members now here on this Drake. TTQ will elect to just give this one up. Having Alawi split push in the top side, will try to get this mid lane turret. TBR could potentially look. However, they will elect to send Ornn top side. Will call the Ornn ultimate and the Rengar ultimate, but Rengar taking a lot of damage here. Not able to find a vulnerable member to assassinate. What could have been scary for TTQ is called off. Fully annoyed though. Slightly out of position here. Chrono, however, does not have too many of those stacks. Actually, he should have most of them. If not all. I think he's missing a stack on Asol and
Blue team's turret has been
Zoe?
destroyed.
Or not Zoe, but Lux. Not entirely sure. But we'll have most of those stacks at this point. We'll be doing a decent amount of damage on that Rengar. It does have 2 completed items, the third halfway done. This Rengar will be a massive terror in the mid game. TTQ need to play around one another, play very carefully, not allow anyone to get singled out by this Rengar. For the side of TBR, they need to start playing around some of these objectives. Have picked up 1 Drake. Still a long way to go. Need to find picks before them. Taylor Swifties running for his life. Will do a decent amount of damage to Philomena in response, but Philomena, feeling confident for the turret dive, does almost take the life of the Aurelion Soul. Rengar now finding Brute. Not going to complete the kill. Just trying to force the flash away. This Rengar that had been finding a decent amount of success in the early game, especially on that top side, now not finding nearly as much on these squishy members of TTQ. But multiple members here. Looking at the Kog'Maw. Trying to force him off this wave. Will be posturing somewhat around Baron. Now attempting to take this mid lane. Bjorn ulti coming out though as Philomena over the top in the backside does get ulted. Fully anointed though, surviving for such a long time, will now fall to Rengar. And a good look for the side of TBR. Only losing 1 member, trading for 2. Will have some advantage towards this Baron side, but not feeling confident to take it for themselves just yet. Will also lose their top side tier 2. A bit of an even trade from both of these teams. Is now Kog'Maw in a lot of trouble, forced to use both summoners. Peppermint eventually dying for the sins of her ADC. Lulu does fall, but Philomena now in the area and very low health bars on multiple members. Good flash ultimate from Philomena. Collects 1, collects 2. Fully anointed in the area, but not able to help. And Taylor Swifties does get out on that Aurelion Soul. But with Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, this is looking very rough in terms of positioning for TTQ. Not going to be able to contest for the second objective. Not going to be able to put themselves on Soul Point, which they have so desperately been trying to do. Leahy and Ricky fighting around this top side as the rest of the team looks at this Drake. Will be completely uncontested by the side of TTQ. $2.8k gold lead here at 23 minutes into the game for the side of TBR. Leahy, level 16 on this Ornn, will be starting to hand out multiple items. Philomena, the next to receive one. That's 3 items in total handed out, not counting the Ornn. Only one remaining will be that Lulu. Now Chono using the ultimate to try and spot out some of these members of TTQ. They are going to group up together. Rengar ultimate will be used on a ward. And no TTQ members threatened at the moment. Leahy now going to be an absolute terror into these mid lane into these mages. Zoe, Asol, and Lux not able to do a whole lot of damage, but magic penetration built for 2 members here. Chono finds the Asol lurking, does pick him off, but the rest of TTQ is trying to collapse on this play. Philomena, Peppermint, and Krasis not far behind. A good ultimate from the Lulu, but not quite able to find it as fully noited. Uses his ultimate to secure the kill. It will be a trade. Mid laner for a jungler. A little bit of overconfidence here coming out for the side of TBR. The Ornhorn now coming out for the top lane, and Philomena destroying Root in that mid lane. Ricky, though, able to survive here with the tentacles.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And if you are the side of TTQ at this point, you really just need the Alawi to keep split pushing, but the ultimate coming out from the Rengar. This is a very healthy Alawi now, though. Leahy has given her a lot back, but Chono just absolutely deletes this Alawi. Oh my goodness. Drake spawning in 2 minutes. Baron still on the map, not taken by either team. Neither feeling confident enough to start this objective up, but Peppermint trying to clear out some of this vision. Sox going to be trying to play some vision of their own in response. Chono finding Sox with a bubble. Or excuse me, the other way around. Sox finding Chono with a bubble. Sox will now be found by the Rengar. A lot of damage taken on this Zoe and a very brave ultimate forward. TBR now feeling confident enough to take this objective. Knowing that Sox is super poked out, has no flash, no real flash. And they do a lot of damage to this objective. Philomena trying to keep fully anointed out of this fight. And it will be secured by Chono. Leahy now trying to force the rest of TTQ away. Will take a decent amount of damage and will force out the ultimate from the Asol. A lot of damage going down. The ultimate coming out from the Rengar, but not going to find anyone as the rest of TBR elects to back off. No trades. Only a dead purple worm. 27 minutes in the game, a 5k goal lead for the side of TBR. Can they push this to completion? There's still a decent amount of standing gold on this map. 2 outer turrets remaining for both of these teams. It's 26 minutes on this next Drake. Will put one of these 2 teams onto Sill Point. TTQ on this bottom side, walking as a group, full 5-man, and Philomena does not know. He is very vulnerable at this moment. He's going to get hit by the Zoe bubble, hit by the ultimate, hit by everything, tries to flash away, but shut down. And now a 4v5 without their mid laner. Will TBR contest? Looks like they will not. Lulu receiving her item. And TTQ looking to go up onto Soul Point here, but TBR not just going to let this happen. The Orange Horn will be called, pushed into 2. Root in a very vulnerable position. Kog'Maw will find her. Fully Noted trying to use the ultimate to keep out the Rengar, will successfully do so. But multiple people dead. Shutdown going to Alawi onto this Kog'Maw. Peppermint now needing to flash away as League of Leahy very low, but still trying to stand in the middle of his team. Chono trying to get to a bush. Will finally kill off that Ornn. But a full ace here for the side of TTQ. Does manage to pick up the Drake as well. Philomena looking at the pieces of this team fight. Good look to find Fully Noided here. Knows that he does not have ultimate. Does use the ult onto the correct target. He's also going onto the clone, unfortunately. Does Philomena have the confidence to go for this fight? It's a 2v1. Does do a lot of damage on this Yone. Not quite able to get the kill onto Fully Noided. It's a bit of a spectator bug on that snapback. Not taking too many risks as still multiple members of his team dead. The Kog'Maw and the Lulu will now respawn. Ornn and Rengar not far behind. And no Baron remaining for the side of TBR. They did not manage to get anything with it. We'll go down to a 2.5k gold lead. As we look at the gold here, looking like most of that gold on the Rengar, who is now looking for a potential play onto Root. She will find him. Oh my goodness. We'll find him for half a second, and then she will just disappear. Rengar needing to find some of these vulnerable members. He is doing so effectively. Full gold graph. Looking pretty good for... Oh, Philomena does manage to land the Q, but does not manage to land the R. As we were saying, the full gold graph, almost 10k for the side of TBR, but TTQ have managed to bring it back a little bit. See if this can lead them anywhere, but mid lane falling. Fully Noided getting spotted out here. And the bubble landing onto the Kog'Maw means that he will be a bit vulnerable, but has the Lulu there. Back him up. Lulu building that Mikhail's. Such a valuable item to build at this point in the game. Kog'Maw not taking a whole lot of damage here, but Root just absolutely disappears. Sox Clinton not that far behind, but Fully Noided wants to make it a trade back. Does get the Lulu ultimate off, and the Rengar W saves his life. Needs to be very careful. He's not able to complete both of those kills. Just needs to back out, and Fully Noided definitely doing his best here on this Wukong. Protecting his team, keeping them safe. Wasn't able to protect Root, unfortunately, but does manage to protect Sox Clinton. "32 minutes, and we are back up to 4k lead for TBR, but we are starting to get to the point where gold does not matter nearly as much. Now, TBR do have an inherent advantage with those Ornn items. A lot of gold that isn't on the stats. As Sox Clinton getting caught by the Rengar, does survive for quite a while. Does manage to live somehow. Breaking that arm guard, looks like. Big purple worm will respawn. TBR are in the more advantageous position for this objective. Fully Noided, though, not going to allow it to just go away. Will take a lot of damage. Chono will take a lot of damage. With Philomena trying to keep the rest of TTQ out of this fight. Fully Noited now incredibly low. Will try to walk away and will sidestep multiple ultimates from Braces, now flashing away. Yone forced to snap back. But Peppermint will manage to find the kill onto Fully Noited, which means that TBR with this Baron should have a very free soul point for themselves. And that means that this next Drake is going to be the biggest one. We'll quickly go over to the side of TBR. Soul point for both of these teams. Slightly more X Drakes for the side of TBR. But TTQ with a Rengar in this game will be happy to have that Mountain Drake on their side. A little bit more tankiness for them to sort of balance out some of the Ornn items, but won't quite balance out all of them. Aurelion Sol, though, doing a very good job of keeping this lane completely free. The wave clear very obnoxious from this dragon, especially as he has scaled up very well. 316 stacks. Chono lurking on this bottom side, trying to find a potential victim. Spots Ricky, and this may be a dead Alawi. The Ornn Horn coming out here. Ricky trying his best, will use his own ultimate in response. Chono having to flash away, but will jump back in. Fully Noited looking, but will get rooted up. Will use his ultimate to try and escape. The ultimate coming out from Acewolf as well, but Fully Noited taking a lot of damage, and League of Leahy not taking nearly as much. The rest of his team, though, not really able to get into this fight. The Acewolf preventing Fully Noited from going down, and Sox Clinton trying to poke out a little bit here. League of Leahy will be incredibly weak. Philomena not able to find an angle onto this Aurelion Sol, but Hogmaw in the mid lane just going to laser down that turret. Is on 4 full items at this point. TTQ, though, in a bit of trouble. Will get poked out by Taylor Swifties. Nobody going to go down just yet, though. Philomena and Fully Noited finding each other. And now Chono on a rampage does finally find the Aurelion Sol, and that should mean the end of this game. Nobody else left to really wave clear effectively. Ricky has respawned, though. Chono trying to take out Fully Noited. The Ornn Horn coming out once again. On to Root. Will catch the Lux. The flash. Okay, I think that was a misclick. Ricky on to 5 members. Multiple tentacles, but so much damage. Braces will fall, and Fully Noited is the last person remaining to protect this base. Will go hard. Will manage to find Chono. Peppermint the next target, but Philomena has plenty of damage. Will complete the kill. Will seal his fate and seal the fate of TTQ with it. Peppermint falling, but the base of TTQ will fall in response. Game number 1 in favor of the Order of the Black Rose. And it did look back and forth there for a little bit. TBR having a decent amount of good moves in the early game, but a lot of good responses coming out from the side of TTQ, keeping that game close, managing to find some early dragon stacking. Let's take a look at some of those stats. All right, welcome back. I apologize. I was going to talk about the stats and was not able to talk about them in time, but we have time for game number 2. TTQ electing to take the red side for this next match. We'll keep the bans pretty much the same. We'll put in the Ambessa and the set on that ban list. Will be the Pike and the Bard for the side of TBR. And will they ban out the Smolder here? Will they decide to take it? Master Yi going to be the ban here for number 3. What side of TBR? And will TTQ respect the red side? They will indeed. Smolder banned here for this game. TTQ acknowledging that champion very strong and not really a good time to allow it to go through. So we'll see what TBR prioritizes instead for this first blue side pick. Jinx going to be the side of TBR, or going to be the first pickup for the side of TBR, excuse me. And I do like this pickup. Jinx, a very strong ADC. Ashe going to be the response, though, potentially paired with the Seraphine maybe. Be a very strong bot lane for the side of TTQ. Definitely where their strength lies, and they need to play towards it. We'll see if they pair it with the support here. Jinx, Seraphine, not nearly as strong of a combination. But Jinx having a lot of other strong combinations. One of them being out right now in the Lulu. Any other enchanter will do the trick, though. Time ticking away for the side of TTQ, and they will elect to pick the Anivia. Anivia, a potential flex pick to the mid lane and the top lane. Could be played in support, but not somewhere that I really want to see it for the side of TTQ. TBR electing to pick the Seraphine for themselves. Not going to allow that one to complete the pairing. Seraphine and Jinx can go well together. The root from Jinx giving Seraphine the opportunity to stun, giving a guaranteed target for that ultimate. We will have to see what TBR pick next. It's Diana going to be the pickup for TBR, and this will be interesting. Seraphine ultimate over the top of the Diana is kind of disgusting. How will TTQ respond? Anivia makes things a little bit difficult for Diana, though. So we'll need to wait for some of those cooldowns to come out. Dr. Mundo going to be the pickup here for TTQ, and that could go to the top side or the jungle. Will be very interesting to see where that is played. But back to bans for the side of TTQ. It's going to start off with the Gwen. Gwen, a very good champion into Dr. Mundo. So a good identification from their side. What will be the response from the side of TBR? A little bit difficult to ban right now, but they could potentially continue to ban junglers. Mundo able to go into either lane, as previously mentioned. But it will be the Poppy. And this is a good three-way flex for the side of TTQ and prevents Diana from doing what she wants to do. Silas going to be the second ban and final for TTQ's red side phase. TBR, the final ban resting on them. TTQ going to have the priority next. And it will be a Kale. Interesting. Kale would sort of fit into this team comp. Does scale up around the same amount of time as Anivia. And it looks like TTQ or TBR believe that TTQ is sending that Anivia mid lane. Again, potentially just trying to force pressure that into a specific lane by banning things away in another lane. TTQ, though, with their first red side pick, will take the Malzahar, so it will likely be Anivia support. Not confirmed yet. Could potentially go top lane as well with that Mundo in the jungle. But TBR need to show the rest of their hand here. Two blue side picks remaining for them. They need a top laner and either a jungler or a mid laner, depending on where they want to send that Diana. Diana doing much better in the jungle. TBR picking the Syndra. And I have commented multiple times on Philomena's Syndra. This is one of the times where I believe Blackfire is not the worst build in the world, but I still would personally like to see build more towards that Luden's Echo. We'll see what we get though in that mid lane. Cho'Gath going to be the final pickup for the side of TBR and likely will be sent top lane. Mundo, a decent response into the Cho, but it will be Senna, so it's likely a Nivea top, Mundo jungle. Senna support. We will have to see what is coming up. But for the side of TBR, a lot of damage, a lot of pick potential. And TTQ need to be really careful about how quickly some of their members can get picked off. Some decent team fighting as well. Diana Seraphine doing very strongly. And then Syndra Jinx to follow up over the top. Cho'Gath, of course, just happy to eat whoever he can. For the side of TTQ, though, a decent amount of disengage and a decent amount of space control, I guess is the best way to put that. Nivea being able to create a lot of space. Ashe, of course, being able to find the pick. Malzahar going to hold them in place to finish them off. Senna with a lot of healing. And Mundo goes where he pleases. We'll have to find out. This game going to be very bloody. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2 of TTQ versus TBR in just a moment. And we are back. Game number 2. TBR 1 win away from locking TTQ out of this tournament. This match will be incredibly important for TTQ to win. There's a little bit of poke coming out early game. Trono going to be hiding away on this Diana. Will allow some vision to go down, but Philomena will get some in response. It is going to be that Mundo in the jungle. Fully Noided going to be piloting that champion, while Ricky will take the Anivia top lane. We'll have to see how this choice of only one tank works out for the side of TTQ. But good poke coming out here from Sox Clinton, forcing this bot lane of TBR away. Whoa, okay. A lot of action. Apologies for a little bit of shakiness on this camera. Sometimes it can be a little bit odd. In the mid lane though, Philomena opting to take Comet and Ghost on the Syndra. Now, as the Syndra main, I question that a little bit, but see how it plays out for him. May not be going for that burn build. Malzahar, though, very happy to just farm this one up. Not need to do a whole lot in this lane. Sox Clinton, though, taking a lot of damage here. Will be in a little bit of trouble. Peppermint also rather low and does have a decent amount of sustain on both of these champions, but Peppermint going to need to spend a bit more mana to make that one happen. And I do apologize for the flickering camera. I believe it has something to do with the Malzahar ability, proccing or drawing the camera's attention away from the lane that we are watching. Fully Noided, though, now here on to Philomena. Taylor Swiftie is going to try and potentially do something, but Philomena wants to kill. Does manage to get it. Blows both summoners, and now Fully Noided is in trouble as Chono here to make things a little more interesting. The Ghost making things a little bit easier for the Syndra to get away. Sox Clinton, though, doing some damage to this Jinx. No, helping push in that mid wave. On the bottom side, though, Root and Sox Clinton doing a good job of letting that wave push away. As Jinx does need to recall. Ricky able to get the stun off onto the Cho'Gath, is not out the electrocute, which is commonly seen on this Anivia, but will be level 6 soon, and so Leahy may need to go ahead and recall. Oh no, now on this bottom side looking to make something happen. But the wave still going to be pushing away, and Chono likely spotted, will be spotted on this ward. Unable to make anything happen. Sox Clinton, though, forced to flash away from the chompers. A lot of damage and a lot of poke going on to Root from this Seraphine. Now the wave will be pushing away. Taylor Swifty's also going to be taking a lot of damage. Philomena does have that lost chapter early, thanks to the first blood. And that is going to make things very difficult. Bot laner TBR looking for a potential ward, but do see the vision plant. Will be forced back off. Taylor Swifty's now level 6. Philomena the same. Not a lot of mana left on this Malzahar. Anointed going to make sure that his lanes, bot lane will crash. Taylor Swifty's taking a lot of poke here. Philomena has this Malzahar on the ropes. Will be forced to recall as Peppermint tries to hold this wave, hopefully hoping that it will freeze, but a lot of action coming towards Philomena in the mid lane. Sox Clinton here as well. But a good pink ward will spot them out. TTQ now looking for this early Mountain Drake. And no vision on the side of TBR around this Drake means that it will likely go uncontested. Leahy doing a good job up here of avoiding the ultimate and the stun. Will do a lot of damage now to Ricky. Eventually looking, will use the chomp to pop the passive. Now Chono looking for a play on bottom side. Does not know that this Drake is going down. Fully Anointed is going to walk. Both junglers level 6 here. Sox Clinton getting pulled in by the ultimate of the Diana. Will go down, but Peppermint also very low. Root now getting jumped on by Chono. But Philomena is here first. Taylor Swifty's not far behind. Fully Anointed needing to run. Philomena is level 6, level 7. Does have that ultimate available. Peppermint not having the ultimate. The ultimate coming out from Taylor Swifty's on the Malzahar will secure the kill. Fully Anointed very low, and Root also kind of low. Oh no, not here to respond, and a little bit better from the mid lane. Oh, Krasis is going to take a lot of damage from that burn and from the Malzahar E. And TTQ will go straight back to this Drake. A 1-for-1 trade. Will be secured by Fully Anointed. And now Chono in a bit of a sticky position here. Stunned up for so long. The Ashe ultimate locking that jungler in place. Sox Clinton there to root right after. TBR's jungler will fall in his own jungle. Ricky and Leahy battling it back and forth on this top side. Cho'Gath does have a lot of sustain here. Ricky has the catalyst. Will be able to have some sustain of his own. is just going to try to clear this wave and interact with the Cho'Gath as little as possible. In the mid lane, though, looks like Philomena will be going for that burn build. And this is one of those weird situations where it's technically okay to go for this build, but perhaps not optimal, as it's not going to do nearly as much damage. Really, it's just for fully noited. But realistically, the Syndra doesn't ever really want to be trying to kill the Mundo anyway. That should really be the job of the Jinx. You want that extra damage. Riki will get caught up by Leahy's Q, but Fully Noited is up here on the side of the good wall. Now Mundo walking around the side. Leahy is looking for the kill. Uses the flash, but now Fully Noited is here. He is going to use the teleport, and because of the Q being used by Riki, able to get out safely and not punished nearly as much by losing his own life. Riki using the last of his mana to stun up the Cho'Gath and will reset on this top side. The ultimate coming out here from Root, but a good choppers from Krasis, and now Chono is here on the bottom side. The charm coming out from Peppermint means that Root falls. Fully Noited here to prevent Sox Clinton from falling as well. But a 1-for-0 trade in favor of the bot lane of TBR. Will be a little bit frustrating, as this is the source of their power. But Fully Noited not able to make too much happen on this bottom side. Not able to help his laners out. That being said, 11.5 minutes into this game, dead even between these two teams. Grubs taken for the side of TBR. Krasis will be in trouble. But never mind, Chono is there. Root having to flash away from Chono. Does jump onto him, but does lose the ultimate in response. Cloud Drake now spawning in 50 seconds. Will we see TBR attempt to take this? Looks like the answer will be no. He's Fully Noited, trying to prevent him from recalling as long as he possibly can. Will have priority on this Drake. Does have his bot laners there. Going to be very difficult for the side of TBR to contest at this point. Jinx is on the way back out. 17 seconds remain. Chono can be in the area. Leahy battling it out with Riki, who really wants to recall. Does not have a lot of mana remaining on this Anivia. Does have the passive, though. Four members of TTQ here on this Drake. They should secure their second one. The Jinx ultimate coming out, completely missing everyone. Philomena and Chono backing off, electing to give this one up. Not in position to be able to contest for this one early, and I think that's the correct call. Neutrals now slightly favored for the side of TTQ. 2 Drakes to the Grubs. But the kill lead will give a small advantage to the side of TBR. 1k gold lead. Chono potentially looking for another play on this bottom side, but Root is going to be on recall and Sox is looking for a roam. Nobody there. It's fully noited. Also collapsing on this mid lane. Philomena, sensing that something is off, does see Sox Clinton on that bottom side and elects to back up. And a slight lead for Philomena in this mid lane. Does have the 1 kill, but 1 kill in response for the side of Taylor Swifties, down about 30 CS in this lane. And if you are Malzahar at this point in the game, you should be even or ahead in farm into your lane opponent, almost no matter who it is. So going to be a little bit frustrating for Taylor Swifties. Both teams now focusing on this Rift Herald that has spawned topside, and I will be interested to see if Chono does look for this objective. Peppermint up here on this top side though. Fully Noited is walking towards this bottom side. Will be spotted out by the Jinx now. Does need to run. Flash away from the arrow. Will not manage to land this. The Chompers will likely go down. 2 ultimates. 3 ultimates used for the side of TTQ. The Rift Herald given over in response. They will try to get this bottom turret. Do have a decent minion wave. Fully Noited staying away from that turret, but Taylor Swifty's down here to take some of the first turret gold. TTQ once again secure the first turret for themselves. Will they be able to convert it?
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Philomena in this mid lane trying to get some plates back for himself. But a trade of first turret for the Rift Herald. Rala now completed for the Sinivia, going to make her incredibly tanky here in about 8 minutes. Going to be more difficult for the Cho'Gath to be able to secure some of these kills. Philomena now battling it up against Root and Sox Clinton in this mid lane. Peppermint here to assist. It's more trading back and forth in this top lane. Chono not electing to focus on this top side nearly as much. Zenobia given free reign to do pretty much whatever she wants. Chono will try to sniff around this top side now though and see what he can get. So now bot lane will swap with mid lane for the side of TBR. Leahy pushing this lane back. Ricky trying to get out of all of this pressure. Will be silenced up. And Leahy does have multiple options to be able to stop that Nvidia ultimate. The Drake will be spawning in about 20 seconds. Needs to stay healthy. Does have TP for this play. Fully Noited having his passive popped. The ultimate coming out from Root onto Chono, but will miss. Philomena here to back up as well. Taylor Swifties get spotted out by Chono. Passive popped and some damage done, but too many members of TTQ in the area. Peppermint does still have that ultimate though, and Leahy is also here on the bottom side along with Ricky. Will do a decent amount of damage on the Anivia, but Fully Noited is still incredibly healthy. Peppermint holding that ultimate, looking for the right time. Fully Noited having that passive back up on the Mundo. TBR potentially electing to just give this Drake back up. Never mind. Leahy is teleporting back in. Chono goes in but dies to Sox Clinton. Anivia is resurrecting Philomena incredibly low. Fully does not manage to secure the Drake. The ultimate coming out from the Cho'Gath means that it will be TBR's. The 2 members for 1 plus the Drake in the pocket of TBR. TTQ are not going to be happy about how that particular team fight went about. And Anivia really able to control some of that space, doing a decent amount of damage, but unfortunately just not enough follow-up damage for the side of TTQ. Fully managing to create a lot of space for his team as well. But just not enough, and Leahy able to outsmite the jungler with his ultimate. Going to be very frustrating that TTQ is not on soul point at this time. They will have more opportunities. But this is sort of how the last game went for these teams. TTQ finding small advantages in different parts of the map, but not able to play the team fights very well. Leahy now on this top side, doing a lot of damage to Ricky. Silences and knocks him up. Does manage to get the stun, and Fully Noited is now here. Leahy could be in a lot of trouble as the rest of TTQ is not far behind. Taylor Swifties goes down in the bot lane in response, however. And looks to be an attempted trade of turrets. TTQ going for this topside turret. May try to push in as far as they can. Meanwhile, TBR putting pressure on the bot lane and middle turrets. TTQ will secure the turret that they're after. Philomena trying to secure a turret on this bottom side. Will be able to do so. Root forced off of this mid lane turret. The Rift Herald going down in the mid lane is going to cause a decent amount of problems for the side of TTQ, but I'm not sure that Chono really wants to ride this all the way. He will indeed choose to. Root firing off the ultimate, but will not manage to do so in time. The rest of TTQ is here. The ultimate coming out from Taylor Swifties onto the Jinx. And yeah, I'm not sure that's what you really wanted to do. I think that that Rift Herald should have remained in pocket, but TBR elect to go for the team fight. Do lose it. Now will lose priority on this big purple worm. Root, though, very low. The rest of TTQ incredibly healthy, though. I don't think Chono really wants to go for this. Has no vision. Doesn't really have a way into this fight. Ricky walling off the Cho'Gath, making sure that he cannot walk in either. And TTQ will secure their first Baron of the series. No Drake spawning for another minute 45. So towards the end of this Baron push for the side of TTQ. Still a decent amount of standing gold on the map for them. 1 outer, 3 inner turrets remaining. But will they be able to push in these waves fast enough? TBR back on the map. Peppermint will get spotted out. Fully Noited running down here towards this bottom side, will be aggressively chasing after Philomena. TBR stealing away that Scuttle Crab. So Jinx, thanks for the leash. Fully Noited now looking to run down this Jinx. We'll get slowed up, and Chono is in the area. So are 3 other members of TTQ. Fully Noited now all by himself, in a little bit of trouble here. Will pop the ultimate on the Cho'Gath, but a TP coming in from the multiple members of TTQ. League of Leahy, though, behind multiple members of TTQ now. And he might be in a little bit of trouble. This is a full 5-man team fight from both of these teams. Taylor Swift is going to go down after trying to pop the ultimate, but Root doing a lot of damage to Leahy. Will try to zone her off. Peppermint already used the ultimate, and Fully Noited does have his passive back up. This team fight looks very bad. Krasis will get hit by the Anivia R. Peppermint dying as a miss. The Seraphine ultimate. Infernal Drake spawning in 3 seconds, and TTQ looking to put themselves onto Soul Point. A good team fight coming out from them. And they will manage to secure it. Starting to put themselves in a better and better position. Will they be able to pick up a win here and even out the series? Right now, looking incredibly close for both of these teams. The gold lead will be evened up. If we look at the gold graph here, we are holding a 3K gold lead. Between the 200 and 3K gold lead for a decent portion of this game. Now falling a little bit behind. Game has not been nearly as bloody as the last one. But still, the critical moments when these team fights do come out. And advantages in both carry roles. Oh, Peppermint getting found by Taylor Swifties, but 3? Is that 3 ultimates I found? Or I saw coming out? Or the side of TTQ just to kill off a Seraphine? Okay. Chono, though, in a bit of a rough position here, will get run down by Fully Noited, and multiple members now of TTQ distracted. Flash away from Chono, but multiple flashes coming out for TTQ. Fully Noited and Taylor Swifties using both of theirs to get that kill. And I think TTQ are in a decent position to be able to win this game, but I am starting to question a little bit their use of resources here. 3 ultimates for 1 support, multiple flashes for a very low health Diana that Fully Noited was absolutely able to run down. But you know what? If it secures them the win, maybe it's not too big of a deal. Multiple members now of TBR on this top side, sniffing around. And an Ashe ultimate onto Peppermint does land this time. Fully Noited still having that passive up though, and Ricky in a very bad position for the side of TBR, but Root going to be the first one to go down. Krasis not far behind as the Jinx starts to get resets. Sox Clinton going down, shut down onto the Mundo. Taylor Swifties, the last remaining member of his team. Oh my goodness, don't you wish you had Flash now? An ace for the side of TBR, and they are going to run it down this mid lane and try to get as much of this TTQ base as they can. And this is exactly what I'm talking about when I question the resource usage of TTQ. Multiple members going for those flashes, going for those ultimates, not having them available at crucial moments. 1 inhibitor down, 1 Nexus turret down, the second down. Root is the last member standing on the side of TTQ as the Nexus falls in her face. GG. TTQ lose 0-2 to TBR. And a very good showing for the side of TTQ in that second game. Draft was quite a bit better, especially given that they actually had an ADC. The play, they made multiple good plays, multiple good team fights, finding the right angles. But again, the usage of resources is just not really what you want to see coming out from the side of TTQ. Using multiple flashes to chase down a low health member, using multiple ultimates on a single support, not having those ultimates available when they absolutely needed them. But let's take a look at some quick stats before we throw it over to a quick break. We will have another game for you on this channel very shortly afterwards. Let's take a look at some stats for this game. 27-minute win for Order of the Black Rose. TTQ holding a 6K gold lead at the end there. were on Soul Point and did definitely make some very good moves around some objectives, but the damage coming out of that Ashe just not comparable to the Jinx damage. And ultimately, what lost them the game, Jinx able to get multiple resets, far ahead in gold. But GG's to TTQ. Unfortunately, at this point, they will not be able to make playoffs. And a bit of a disappointing moment for them. But not disappointing for you, the viewers, as we do have another game coming up. We will have, I believe, Disciples of Reese playing Enigmatic coming up here in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.